I always forget my cup. We are live. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. For those of you who are new to my page, I'm live on all platforms. My Instagram page over here, Facebook over here, Financial Healing for Women business page, and Financial Healing for Women Sisterhood group. So, hey, everybody, I see y'all hopping on. My name is Janae Wynn. I am a personal finance professional, and I basically help women to remove financial shame and smash their financial goals one step at a time. So if you're hopping on, say hey. Let me know that you're live in the comments on Facebook. They don't always let me see who's actually live with me. But if you are live, type live in the comments. And if you catch this later on the replay, type replay in the comments. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the one thing that you need to know, or the one thing that's stopping you from going all in on your financial journey. So for those of you who are watching, also throw your city in the chat. Where are you from? Are you in Oak City? I got some people in my group really that are from all over New York, Atlanta. Let me know where you're watching from. So a little bit about me before I go right in and head into the topic for today. I started my financial healing journey 7 years ago. And when I started, I was sinking in debt. I had a whole lot of debt. At the time when I started, I had a very little income. I was making $10 an hour at the time. And since then, I've paid off over $25,000 in debt, got my living expenses down to $1,500 a month. And I was able to go full time in my personal finance coaching business with some smart financial strategies. And so I've pretty much worked in all related industries as it pertains to finances. So I've worked in leasing, apartment leasing, real estate, banking. I've worked in the credit industry, and I've been coaching in the credit industry, and also in my own business for about 4 years. So been helping women heal their behaviors and smash their financial goals for over 4 years now. And it's been such an honor to be able to help, because it just brings me a gratification to see people's lives healed, not just, put together a budget, like anybody can do that, but to really see people's lives healed and transformed. So I have a question for all of you watching. Has anything crazy ever happened to you or someone that you know, right? And I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios, because this is what I'm about to talk to you about today. So crazy things like, has anyone ever have you co-signed a car for someone, right? And then the other person wrecked the car, or they just stopped paying the note altogether, and now you have a repossession on your credit report. Or maybe you got a credit card for someone else, right? I've been there. You got a credit card for someone else and they let it get charged off, or they didn't pay the bill. And so it fell on you, right? Do you have a ton of student loans, or maybe you didn't finish school and you regret it because you're the ones that are in the situation where you have to pay it back? Or maybe you allow someone to use you. This happens a lot in relationships, where the other person, is under financial distress, and so you have to help them with something financially. Has that ever happened to you, right? Well, if it has, keep watching, because I'm going to share with you the one thing that's really stopping us from going all in our financial journey. It's not money. It's not the lack thereof. It's not any of that. It's actually something that you probably know, but you probably aren't paying attention to, right? So before we go ahead and get started, for those of you who are watching and you're currently in a really bad situation where you have a lot of debt and you really need breakthrough, right? And you need relief. Well, I created a financial breakthrough roadmap, and basically that literally gives you the steps to pay off debt, stay out of debt, right? Pay it off and stay out of it. That's what we want. So I know that a lot of people are struggling with that. So I created the financial breakthrough roadmap so that you can have literally step by step on how to get out of the debt and how to stay out of the debt. So you can go to financialbreakthroughroadmap.com and grab it. I'll put it on the screen real quick while I finish. Hey guys, hey y'all, I see y'all hopping on. How we doing on Facebook? How we doing on Instagram? Financial breakthrough roadmap. Grab your roadmap so you can get your step-by-step, play-by-play on how you can actually pay off the debt and stay out of it. Nobody wants to get out of it just to get back in it. So I'll put that up there for you. All right. So today I'm going to be talking. When I was thinking about the topic for today, I was thinking about the times that I was under a lot of stress and what was really financially, what was really stopping me from really getting started, right? What was really stopping me? It wasn't the fact that I didn't have income coming in, right? There were other things. So I felt like addressing something that I have to address a lot with the people that I work with my clients. In the beginning, when we start their financial healing journey, we do something called a discovery session. And that's when I find out about really a little bit about them, what they're going through, what they're dealing with. And so we can kind of sift through and figure out what are the underlying things that's really stopping them from hitting their goals. And a lot of times when I talk to them, it's rooted in unforgiveness, right? It's not money, it's not finances, it's the things that's attached to that made them feel a certain way that's stopping them from getting started. So what I realize is that many women, and hey y'all, see y'all hopping on. Hey, I am that guy and country gal. Hey boo. Many women there's a few things happening. We haven't forgiven ourselves for the financial mistakes that we've made. We haven't forgiven ourselves for the failures that we consider failures, right? They might not actually be failures, but we're looking at them like failures. Or we may not have forgiven ourselves for things that have happened to you in the past, right? Things that you may not have even asked for, like a pandemic. Hello, nobody asked for this. But we're still forced to move forward. We're still forced to keep going, right? To figure out how to pay off the debt, even though we may not have been the ones that accumulated the debt, but because it's under our name, we have to pay it off, right? So what I'm going to share, I'm just going to share a few things that's pretty much just going to help you move forward on your journey so that one thing that's stopping you won't stop you anymore, right? So the first thing first is we're talking about forgiveness, and there's 3 different parts of forgiveness that need to happen within you so that you can move forward. Number one thing is you have to understand that God has already forgiven you, right? So yes, you may have made the mistake. Yes, you may have co-signed for the car and knew that you shouldn't have. You may have gotten the credit card, charged it up, and knew that you weren't doing right. But it's important to know that God has already forgiven you for that thing. The moment that you asked him for forgiveness, or maybe you haven't even asked him for it, the moment that you asked him or that you felt a certain way about it, you have already been forgiven. There is nothing you could have done that would stop God from forgetting all about what you did, right? He is not keeping record. He's not keeping score or anything like that. Really, all he's wanting you to do is say, okay, let's get this together. Forgive Understand that I've forgiven you. The mistake has been made. It's over. Let's move on. If anything, that's what he's saying. So understanding that nothing is too ugly, nothing is too messed up. There's not one situation that is too big when it comes to your finances that he can't help you through. So he's already forgiven you. And in fact, I also need to break down a barrier that you don't have to earn the forgiveness. You've already been forgiven just because he did his due diligence to die on the cross, come back, you're forgiven, right? So you don't have to earn the forgiveness. You're already forgiven, right? So that's the first thing I wanted to break down. Type got it in the comments if you're with me. Type I got it in the comments if you're with me. Number two, so the first thing is understanding that God has already forgiven you. Number two is understanding the power in forgiving others, right? We're talking about the one thing that's stopping you from going all in on your financial journey is forgiving the people that messed up, right? Forgiving them so that you can move on and do what you need to do to resolve that debt, to save for what you want, whatever it's stopping you from being able to do, and you have to forgive others. Now, let me make something clear. Forgiving others doesn't mean that you validated their actions. It doesn't mean that you're okay with the fact that you helped them get this car and they didn't pay it and now it's a repossession on your credit report, right? Or that you got the credit card and for them and they didn't pay the bill. It doesn't mean that you're validating those actions, because we all know that that isn't right to do. It simply means I'm choosing not to hold that thing that happened against them. I'm choosing not to hold that thing against them, right? Now, you may say, well, how can I forgive them when they did X, Y, Z to me, right? When they, whatever the case is. I used to work for a credit repair agency as an agent, and I would hear a lot of things about family members and friends and, things that left people in a financial bind, right? So you may say, well, how can I forgive them when they did X, Y, and Z to me? And I'm like, I know, I understand. I get it. But not forgiving them isn't really doing much for them, right? Understand that it's not doing much for them, because there's a good chance that they are just moving on with their life, doing what they got to do. Maybe they've changed, maybe they haven't, right? But they aren't really worried about you. They aren't really worried about the situation anymore. They moved on, but you're still left hurt and you're still left stagnant when it comes to your finances, because you're holding on to the debt that they left you with, or or what they didn't teach you, maybe something your parents didn't teach you about money. But that's why it's so important to let it go, because you're wasting energy on something that's not even helping you. So, and let me also say this, even if you don't forgive them for them, hear my heart in this, even if you don't forgive them for them, do it for you. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. Do it for you. You may say, well, I've heard this as well. You may say, well, I let it go, right? The thing that happened, I let it go. That's good and all, but letting go and forgiving is not the same. It's not the same thing, because you can let something go, but then when you think about the situation that happened, or the person, what they said or what they did, the money that they caused you, I'm talking thousands of dollars. Some of you have loaned people or gotten credit cards or cars or things like that. It may be hard to forgive, but you say, well, I let it go. It's over. I wash my hands with it. I'm done. That's good. But if you think about the situation and it brings back those memories and those emotions, right? Like anger, frustration, then that means there's a level of forgiveness that's still not done. It still needs to be a level of forgiveness there, right? So letting go is great. You can let it go, but that doesn't mean that you've forgiven them completely. And so money is one of those things that can tear apart relationships. It can tear marriages apart, friendships, family. I've heard it and seen a lot of situations. Um, so, for example, I'll kind of give y'all an inside scoop on something that happened to me. I had a person in the past, long, long time ago, that would always like guilt trip me into helping them with certain things. This one thing in particular was like a car. I think it was a car, or they needed to get a license or something like that. This is the crazy thing too. I get like amnesia with things that happened to me in the past because I've done the healing work to get past it. And my friends, they sometimes make fun of me because they're like, you don't remember people's names, you don't remember what happened because I've forgiven and it's irrelevant now at this point. So I just keep moving forward. Um, and forgiving them, I forgive myself, I move forward, because I have too much to do. I have too much inside of me. There's too much there's too much that God wants to do and people for me to reach, for me to hold on to that type of stuff. Right. But anyways, this is just to give you an example. I had a person that would always guilt trip me into kind of helping them with things, money. In this particular situation, it was like a car or something. And it would go like, a person would be like, I really need X, Y, and Z, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to get paid. And then not paid, but I don't know how I'm gonna pay it off. I don't know how I'm gonna get my car out of the shop, things like that. And so during that time, me wanting to help and wanting to solve a problem, oftentimes I would offer money to fix the problem because I felt the guilt. I felt the guilt and I didn't want the person to be in a bad situation. But then after I would help the person out, I would find that maybe the money was actually for something else, or um, they just didn't do what they said they were going to do with it. And so it always turned out for me, I was the person that was helping and the person getting hurt while I was helping. So that caused me a lot of hurt, right? And it also caused me to lose a lot of money, thousands, right? So drop a one in the chat if anything like that has ever happened to you. If anything like that has ever happened to you, drop a one in the chat. No shame here. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Okay. But when I look back on that situation, I realized, a part of me was being used by the person. A part of me was a little naive. I could blame the person for the money that I lost or the money that I gave away, or I could forgive them and I can move forward. Because the truth is, people will do all types of things if you allow them, but God always gives you the victory and He always takes care of you as long as you just don't allow the things that have happened to you to make you bitter. But forgive them, forgive yourself, and move on. So, first thing I wanted you to know was God has already forgiven you. Second thing I wanted you to know is that it's important for you to forgive others. It's everything for you to forgive others. And then the last thing is you have to forgive yourself. And this is probably one of the hardest parts of forgiveness, because and I said a little bit before that when you forgive your others, it's really benefiting you more than it is the other person. You're setting them free from any bondages and you're setting yourself free, right? But forgiveness says to yourself, I want to be free from holding on to what the person did to me so that I can be released and be able to walk, into whatever I'm supposed to walk into. And for a lot of people, that could be financial blessings. That can be God blowing your mind, right? But when you don't forgive yourself and others for the financial mistakes, it keeps you in bondage and the other person as well, right? And you could be hindered in areas of your life that God wants to bless you. And it's simply because, let's say, and this actually happened. I remember when I was in real estate and I was selling a home to a guy, and his ex-wife had racked up so much debt in his name. And because he was in the home buying process, he couldn't have those debts attached to his name. It was really messing up his debt to income ratio. And he had to pay those things off. And it was the hardest thing that he ever had to do. But he just got remarried. He was with a new woman. They were about to go on this journey to get a new home together. And those things were stopping him. The debt from the ex-wife was stopping him from being able to walk into the blessings that God had for him. So he didn't want to pay it because he didn't forgive the person, right? There was still that unforgiveness, like, she did this, it's in her name, I shouldn't have to pay this off, right? So there's a level of unforgiveness that's not there, that's stopping you from being moved forward, which is stopping you from being able to get the things that God wants you to have, God wanted him to have in his life. So forgive yourself. He also needed to forgive himself for allowing all of the things to happen. There's so many layers to this, but forgive yourself. When you don't forgive yourself, you may hear yourself using terms like, what if? Well, if I pay that off, well, what if they don't? What if they don't forgive me? Or what if they don't? None of that matters. All you're doing is just releasing yourself from the bondage that comes from unforgiveness for the person that didn't pay you the money back, or they didn't do their part to pay their monthly bill on the car. There's tons of situations. Fill in the blank wherever you choose, right? So also, when it comes to forgiving yourself, one thing that I always have to battle with my clients is they have a hard time moving forward because they're comparing their previous mistakes to the what ifs that may happen in the future, right? So let's say you had a business and you didn't take care of the finances in the business, caused you to fail. And so now you're at the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to start again. But now you're comparing what happened previously with what you may have did, or the mistakes that you may have made, with the new journey that you want to go on. There's a level of forgiveness that has to take place for yourself. It happened. I'll learn from it. I forgive myself, and then we're going to move forward. So forgiveness, the last point is to forgive yourself. So the first one is to forgive others. No, God has already forgiven you. Forgive others, and then forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. So now that you guys are ready to move forward, it's time for you to take some action after you forgive yourself, forgive the other person, understand that God has forgiven you. It's time to take action, right? And you want to take action quickly, because here comes the enemy in your ear telling you to do, not to pay the bill, not to move forward with the idea, not to get help on your finances, all of that. So you want to take action immediately. Just do it, because nothing bad is going to come from you taking action and putting forth effort. And so if you're in the season where you're needing help with finances, you don't understand, I have strategy sessions that I am booking up until the end of the month, actually till the end of November, but you can only book by the end of October. So if you're needing help, if you feel stuck, if you're feeling like, I know I need to move forward, but I just don't know the steps, then a strategy session is a really good place to start, because we'll just talk for a brief second, and then I'll give you some structure and some steps to be able to move forward in whatever it is you need to do. Whether that's budgeting, paying off debt, strategy, all of that. So make sure you book your section. And for those of you on IG, you can grab it in the bio. And if you're on Facebook, I will throw it in the comments for you. Oh, I've missed all your comments. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's two different things. Certain things will trigger you if you don't forgive them. Absolutely. Yeah, I've had situations happen where I have been on the same airplane with someone, the same airplane going to the different state. And I'm like, surely, me and this person wouldn't sit next to each other on the plane. And I would be next to them on the plane. It's just so crazy how God will push you into healing. He will push you into confronting things so that you can move forward. I feel like forgiving them always allows you to open up space and accept responsibility for yourself too. When you're done blaming someone else, you're able to see yourself in your actions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Blaming other people's always keeps like this fog over your eyes. Like you can't really see straight because this fog is in your eye of what you think you see, right? It could be completely sunny on the other end, but you see what you are wanting to see. So love it, love it, love it. All right, guys. So get your strategy session booked so that you can be well on your way to hitting your financial goals and just decreasing that shame, right? That's the first step. So I will see y'all tomorrow.